We're joined on the phone by Captain Cornelissen of the Farley Moat with the Sea Shepherd Conservation Society. We're speaking with him from where he's at in eastern Canada about the yearly annual seal hunt that goes on up there. Hello, Captain. Can you hear me?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good evening to you. Where are you located right now?
Yeah, we're about 35 miles northeast of Sydney here in Nova Scotia.
Mm-hmm. And how close are you to where the hunt is taking place?
Yeah, we're actually in the area where the hunt has been taking place in the last few days, but the hunt has actually been suspended yesterday evening. So we are expecting them to resume the hunt around April 11th.
Mm-hmm. And how many days has this been underway there?
Yeah, this started on the 28th, and we got here on the 30th, and that was the day that we found the couple of sealing boats engaged in sealing, and that was the same day that we had the collision with the Coast Guard.
Maybe we can talk a little bit about the Coast Guard interference with your activities in a minute, but I'd like to, if you could, just give us a little bit of background on what's going on there. How many seals is the Canadian government permitting the hunters to slaughter, and how are they going about this, and why exactly are they doing this?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, this year's quota is about 275,000 harp seals. They are being killed in various ways. Here in the Gulf, they are mostly being clubbed. And up in the Labrador front is where the biggest part of the hunt actually takes place. They're mostly shot. Unfortunately, the 275,000, that's the official quota, but a lot of them actually drown after they're being shot, and so the actual kill number is far higher. And why is the Canadian government doing this? It's a big mystery, because it's definitely not a sustainable hunt. It's a heavily subsidized hunt by the Canadian government. They're actually spending millions of dollars to keep this hunt going, and there is no market for it. The European Union is just about to close its borders. There's going to be a vote in the European Parliament this year, and it's most likely that they're going to close the borders to any seal products to be imported into Europe, and that would pretty much mean the end of the Canadian sealing industry, because most of the products actually end up in China and Russia, but they have to go through European ports to get there. So if Europe would close their borders, that would be the end of it. Yeah.
So why, if this is if it's unsustainable, the official quota of 270,000, but you say it's actually more than that because many die when they're shot in the water. If this hunt is just a big government subsidized event that isn't even profitable, why is it continuing?
I think it's still being conducted because the Canadian government clearly mismanaged their fish stocks, especially the codfish in the 70s, which resulted in the collapse of the cod fishery. And now they're looking for a scapegoat to blame for that collapse, and they're saying the seals are eating the cod, so by diminishing the numbers of seals, we're actually going to bring the cod back to life. So they're promising the fishermen renewed catches, which is not going to happen because the seals actually prey on predatory fish that, again, prey on cod. So therefore, by lowering the seal numbers, you're lowering the predatory species that prey on cod, and therefore you're actually lowering the cod number.
I'm sorry, go ahead. The seals are the scapegoat, basically. Is that what you were going to say?
Exactly.
So, what is exactly your main? What is the Sea Shepherd Conservation Society's main objections to this, and what kinds of steps are you taking to oppose it?
Well, this year, in the past, we have done whatever we can to interfere with the hunt, and also to document as much as possible to show the world what's going on. Obviously, we're trying to build up the same movement that we had in the 70s, which resulted in the closure of the hunt for several years. We were definitely trying to get that movement going again, but at this point, we're here to document and to show what's going on here, and especially because this very important vote that's coming up in the European Union. If we can show that this hunt is in no way sustainable and in no way humane, then the European Union will definitely vote against the import of seal products. And one of the things that's very suspicious is the Canadian government has closed pretty much this entire hunt to every observer from every single organization. It's really hard to get permits. Sea Shepherd definitely is not allowed to get any permits to witness the seal hunt. and even media, independent media, and other organizations also have a hard time getting a permit. So they're doing whatever they can to stop the world from knowing what's actually going on up here.
So what are your main objections to the hunt? You say it's unsustainable. Maybe you can be a little bit more specific about why you think it's unsustainable, but also what are some of the other objections that you have to it?
Well, the objections that we have to it is that this hunt is a very brutal massacre of seal babies, and there is no place for it in the 21st century. The way the seals are being killed is absolutely inhumane. They are being shot. Most of the times they're not dead when they're being skinned alive. We've actually had, from the one day that we've been here, we actually have footage of several of the seals being gutted while they're still alive. You can see them still moving about. The Canadian government has promised that the regulations are going to be enforced. They've promised that there's several measures in place to prevent situations like this. But there is simply no enforcement. There's nobody there on the ice, and the Canadian government is too busy to watch us, to watch the anti-sealing movement, and they're not paying attention to the real aggressors here, and that are the people that are in violation of their sealing regulations. And obviously we're trying to document that as much as possible to stop it, to stop this from continuing to happen. It's unsustainable because, as I said, the seal population is only about 1 to 4 million. That's far less than it used to be at the beginning of the century. So if we keep killing 200 to 300,000 seal pups every year, half seals get one seal pup every year. So by taking out that many numbers, eventually the whole population is going completely to disappear. There won't be any seals left.
And you said earlier that they actually eat the fish that prey on cod, not cod, and so by taking them out, in fact, they're reducing.
Only about 3% of the seal's diet consists of cod. A far greater number actually consists of the predatory species. That's correct.
So they're actually reducing the cod numbers at the same time that their goal is to supposedly help out the fishermen.
Exactly, yeah. So again, the Canadian government is showing that their fishing policies are completely wrong. They're not doing what needs to be done to. The only way to get the codfish back to stop fishing for a couple of decades and let the populations flourish again, and then open up to fishing. But by just taking out numbers and by taking out the seals, it's definitely not going to improve the cod fisheries.
So what basically drove the cod fishery into the ground in the first place? Was it just massive overfishing?
It was massive overfishing, yeah. They just gave out too many fishing permits. Their quotas were far too high, and scientists warned that this would happen, and it clearly did happen. And obviously we're seeing a similar situation worldwide now with a lot of the fisheries. Actually, most of the commercial fisheries are either on the verge of collapse or already have collapsed. So the Canadian government was one of the first to take out a species in a certain area.
So they're basically
now they're trying to
go ahead.
Now they're trying to do the same with Now they're trying to do the same with the seal. Some of them are being slashed, some are not, and some are still being gutted alive. So even this new regulation that is in effect is not actually making it more humane. But we think that the Canadian government is making it so hard for observers to witness this, because they're very scared that the European Union will actually accept this ban on seal products. So they'll do whatever they can to prevent any footage that might be incriminating to reach the European public.
Hear that the Coast Guard has been harassing your crew to try to prevent you, the Canadian Coast Guard, to prevent your documentation of this slaughter. Can you talk a little bit?
They've